Okay, let's dive into something that has truly sent ripples across Hollywood, really shaking things up.
Yeah, big news.
We're talking about one of the industry's most influential figures, Tyler Perry, who now finds himself right at the center of a staggering lawsuit, 9 figures.
Huge numbers involved.
And the person bringing these allegations, it's someone from inside his own world. Derek Dixon, an actor from Perry's show, The Oval.
Right, someone known within that production circle.
And this isn't just talk. A lawsuit was officially filed June 13th, 2025. Dixon is alleging, well, it's a deeply disturbing pattern. Sexual assault, harassment, emotional manipulation.
And stretching back several years, apparently, since 2021.
Exactly. It's described not as, a one-off thing, but a consistent pattern, a misuse of power, really, behind the scenes of the empire Perry built.
And what's really critical here is how these allegations, if they hold up, could change how we see power dynamics in Hollywood, especially for someone seen as, empowering others.
Right. Makes you ask, is this just about him? Or is it symptomatic of something bigger?
That's the core question. So our mission in this deep dive is to really unpack the specifics in the lawsuit, look at those power dynamics, the silence often found in entertainment, and consider what this means, especially given Perry's public persona.
And just so you know, we're basing this on recent news reports, specifically one titled, "Tyler Perry Faces Sexual Misconduct Lawsuit from the Oval Actor." That gives us the basic facts.
Right, so let's get into the allegations themselves.
Okay, so unpacking the core claims. Dixon's lawsuit, it goes beyond just assault. It details what he calls a pattern of control.
Control is the key word there.
Yeah, he mentions private meetings, subtle threats, career promises that, seem to have strings attached.
And saying no apparently came with terrifying consequences, is how he puts it.
It really paints a picture of someone feeling completely cornered.
Exactly. Dixon states Perry used his influence so that he and maybe others felt, voiceless, trapped. It's not just about force, but that psychological pressure when someone controls your career.
And you have to wonder, how do these private situations become so isolated, so dangerous?
Well, he specifically mentions incidents happening in isolated locations, places where he felt powerless.
He described them as dangerous, not just inappropriate, but dangerous.
Yeah, which leads to the obvious question.
Why didn't anyone speak up sooner? Especially Dixon himself.
Well, the silence, according to the lawsuit, wasn't really a choice. It was rooted in fear.
Fear of what specifically?
He lists it out. Fear of being blacklisted, career suicide for an actor, right? Losing his job on the Oval, public exposure, his whole future, basically.
So when one person holds that much sway, speaking out is incredibly risky.
Extremely. He's suggesting the system around Perry didn't just protect Perry, it actively isolated anyone who might resist.
So the very structure was part of the problem, he claims.
That seems to be the argument. He even says he tried using internal channels hoping for change. Nothing happened. According to him, nothing changed. Which, raises big questions about those internal systems meant to protect people.
And that silence just festered, it sounds like. He describes this sort of subtle pressure cooker.
Yeah, like every missed opportunity, maybe getting distanced from casting calls, felt this punishment for not, quote, playing along.
It's a system where fear makes you police yourself.
Yeah.
Chilling, really.
Definitely.
So why now? What changed?
He says he's just done being quiet, that the lawsuit is about, quote, finally telling the truth, reclaiming his own story.
And it comes with that huge demand, $260 million.
Wow. Yeah, that number certainly got everyone's attention. It's staggering.
What does that figure even represent?
His lawyers say it covers emotional trauma, lost earnings, and damage to his public image. It's meant to reflect the sheer scale of the alleged harm and career impact.
Okay, so that's Dixon's side. What about Tyler Perry? What's the response?
Well, so far, silence. Nothing official. No denial, no statement.
No legal action from his side either.
Not yet, although some sources close to him are suggesting he might fight back hard, possibly even a countersuit.
But the official silence is interesting.
It definitely is, and it's only making people more curious, more speculative. Social media is going wild, digging up old interviews, clips.
Looking for clues, I guess.
Exactly.
And there's another layer here, potentially even more explosive.
Right. The legal filing hints, it more than hints, that Dixon might not be alone.
Suggesting other actors could come forward.
That's the implication. And if that happens, well, this could become one of the biggest Hollywood scandals in years.
Because it's not just any powerful figure, it's Tyler Perry.
Precisely. He's more than a filmmaker. He's a symbol, a success story, praised for giving Black actors opportunities when maybe others didn't.
Which leads to that really uncomfortable question everyone's whispering.
Can someone who champions empowerment publicly be privately controlling people under their influence? It's a tough question.
Is the public image the real person? Dixon seems determined to force that question into the open.
Yeah, the lawsuit makes it clear. He says he's ready to lose everything to expose what he calls the truth. He frames it as protecting others who are still afraid.
So, wrapping this up, we have one lawsuit, one voice, for now. But an accusation that could potentially unravel so much.
Absolutely. Because if even some of this is true, this story is really just beginning.
It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? What does a case like this really tell us about accountability, about power, and that intense pressure to stay silent in places like Hollywood?
And how do we as a society balance someone's public image with these kinds of private allegations? Especially when it takes so much courage for someone in a vulnerable spot to finally speak out. Lots to consider.